All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is our Sunday night team huddle. My name is Missy Hides. I am an independent consultant and national vice president with Arbonne. And whether this is your first call or whether you've been hopping on these for quite some time, really my heart is that every time you get on these calls, whether they're live or the recording, that you gain value from them, that you get skills, that you get mindset training to really help you move your business forward in some way. And so we have lots of people being represented. We've got 3 regions within this team, and that is just a huge accomplishment in and of itself. And those gals are all focused and poised to be track into nation this year. So I anticipate just growth upon growth. We've got a couple gals in qualification for region, which is exciting. And all that means is that we have a plan in place to teach you how to be successful, and you can have confidence in that and just know that there is growth and success happening all around you, and you are part of just an incredible team and an incredible group of people. If you don't have your camera on, I love for people to put their camera on. I don't care what you look like. If you're like, girlfriend, I got like all the junk happening, I don't care. If you like feel like you got a scarf on your face, if you're in bed, I mean, make sure you're appropriate. But I do think one time, just as I said, I do think one time we had a gal taking a bath, and she had her camera on, and I was like, real comfortable. She's really comfortable, but I mean, it's fine. You didn't see anything, but I was like, I'm pretty sure this girl's in the bathtub while she's on the Sunday night team huddle. So just make sure, you got all your privates covered up, but hop on, turn the camera on, because I do like seeing that. I think that there's a lot of camaraderie, and then you get to see other people. So, okay, so we're going to jump into tonight, and what we're going to be focusing on is not only starting every month strong, but finishing the month strong. Because what do you think is most likely for people to do? Start strong or finish strong? Start strong, right? Everybody starts strong. Everybody loves the first of the month. Everybody loves the first of the year. Everybody loves a Monday, right? Everyone's like, woo, I'm hitting my goals on Monday. And then Thursday comes around and we're like, I'm tired. I didn't get my goals. The week's almost over. I'll go for Monday again, right? And so developing the habit, the discipline of finishing as strong as you start things, you all will set you up for success, not only in this business, but just as an overall characteristic for your life, finishing things well. And when you think about your life, this is a little philosophical, but when you think about your life, you want to finish your life well. You want to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. You want to cross that finish line onto the next, giving your best. Our number 1 income earner, Cecilia Stoll, I love that she has been saying for a while now that the rest of her life will be the best of her life, that she wants to leave nothing, she doesn't want to have any potential left in her when her days are done here on this earth. And so I just love that. And so it's just this principle of finishing strong. So I've got some things to share on that, but a couple just kind of housekeeping things is we still have the sponsoring challenge going, so you can win the Lululemon bag. And if it wasn't super clear for you on how that breaks down, I'm going to be giving away 4 of them. So at the consultant level, if you are a consultant, not yet a manager within Arbonne, if you are the top person to sponsor, you're going to get a bag. Then the top district manager is going to get a bag, top to sponsor in the area manager group, and then also in the VP group. Okay, so you're not necessarily, so if you're like, well, I'm a consultant and I'm not going to, you feel like maybe you'd be at a disadvantage competing against everybody else in the team. You're not. You're just looking to be the number 1 sponsor, meaning you've personally sponsored the most people at the level that you currently are at in your business, okay? And that is out there simply because what have we been talking about since the beginning of this year is that we are going to most grow our businesses through what? Sponsoring. And sponsoring is going to come through what? Personal development, self-development, okay? So know that sponsoring challenge is out there. So the second thing that I want to ask you is, and you can comment on this in the chat box, you can just know whether or not you've done this. Whenever I am kind of challenging you guys, it's not ever from a place to make you feel bad. It's never from a place of like shaming people. That's horrible. It's really just a place of coming alongside and loving you. So what I want to ask you is, Do you have a book that you're reading? Did you pick a book? Did you find a personal development book that you have started to commit to reading and working through based on the season or the area that you know right now you want to work on? And if you have, that's awesome. You can put it in the chat box and say, I'm doing this one, I love it. And if you haven't, then I'm going to ask you, why have you not? Why have you not? Because I believe I gave a strong enough argument several weeks ago on why we need to be doing personal development, why we need to be investing in ourselves. So if you haven't, then you need to ask yourself, why am I not doing this, right? And then here's the great news. You can find a book tonight. You can go on Amazon, you can go on Kindle, you can find a book tonight. Oh, someone's sharing their screen. I'm going to stop them from sharing their screen. Hold on. You want to continue this? Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh. Hold on. Share screen. There we go. Very good. Okay, went back to it. So just to really challenge you, if you haven't yet gotten a personal development book that you have started to, even if all you were reading is 1 page a day, it's just little steps. I told somebody today that before you can be great at anything, you have to be good. Before you can be good, you have to be bad. And before you can be bad, you have to just get started. And sometimes in this personal development journey, you just have to get started. And sometimes that looks like just reading a page. And if you're like, I don't know if I even have time for a page, then you read a paragraph. But that's what I'm saying. You just have to get started on somewhere with this, because that is going to build you as a person. And you as a person, your business will grow to the level that you do as a person, okay? And that is going to help you yield more effective sponsoring, because most often what people are saying yes to is you. Yes, they're saying yes to Arbonne. Yes, they're saying yes to the products and the business opportunity, but they're saying yes to you as a person. Do they know you? Do they like you? And do they trust you? That comes from personal development. Most people would not hear about Arbonne from someone that they feel is like a total just jerk and be like, yep, I'm going to sign up and do this with them. They might see Arbonne as an awesome opportunity, but more than likely they're not going to sign up because the person that's sharing that with them is not someone that they want to associate themselves with. It's not someone that they know, that they like, and that they trust. Okay, so that is why that is so important. So we have 7 days to go. And like we talked about last week, if you didn't watch the team huddle from last week, I would recommend going back and watching that, because I'm not saying this as like tooting my own horn, but that had powerful content in it, in that understanding that your belief system, what the tracks are that your thoughts run on, are so imperative to the long-term success you're going to be able to create in this business, in your life, in your health, in your finances. Okay, if people are like always struggling in their finances, it's not an income issue. It's not an earning issue. It's a belief issue. It's a beliefs issue. Okay, it's the same thing with relationships. It's the same thing with your health. Those are what we see, are just kind of the results, but what is really running those things are the beliefs. So I want to ask you to really think about, what do you believe is possible over the next 7 days? Because that's going to greatly impact how this week goes for you. And why it's so important to end a month strong is because it sets you up every time to start the next month. Okay, when you fizzle out in a month and you just kind of pass, like give half effort, half ass it, and you're just like, oh, we're gonna close it out, but you're not really committed to closing your month strong, you're not gonna be set up to start March well, okay? You have to finish well in order to start well. And so there is a huge difference between knowing and executing. And what I'm gonna share tonight, if you're new, some of this will be brand new for you, but for most of you, if you're not new, you're going to be like, oh, I've heard this before. You've said this before. And you can hear something, but if it's not something that you're actively executing, then you actually haven't heard it. Does that make sense? Because there is kind of a principle that I love that says don't just be hearers of the word, but also be doers, because otherwise you will deceive yourself. Like, oh, I've listened to it, I've heard it. That's why people can listen to trainings over and over and over and over again. But if they don't execute anything, they're really just deceiving themselves, and they just become really inflated with all kinds of knowledge, but they're not really living it and they're not really executing it. So there's a big difference. So I want you to ask yourself, are these things that you know, or are these things that you know and you're executing? And again, you always get to like begin again. That's one of the things I love about this business, is that your past doesn't define you. I was really bad at Arbonne for a long time, and I was actually horrible at it for a long time. And there were a lot of things that I knew, a lot of things, but what held me back from actually gaining and growing and promoting was the executing of things. But once I made those decisions, and they're just simple, small steps to start executing them, that's when the growth happened, okay? Because information, if you've been around me for a little bit of time, you've heard this, information without application leads to frustration every time. Again, it's just being filled up with lots and lots of knowledge, but not executing it is going to leave you feeling frustrated, because you're going to feel like, I know what to do with my business and it's not growing, right? And if you've ever felt that way, like, I know what to do, but I'm not seeing it, it's because you're not executing it, or you're not executing it consistently. And the consistency, you haven't given the consistency enough time. Okay, so that's what that always comes down to. On close night, so we have close night coming up on Saturday night, you will experience one of two pains, okay? And again, these are not new things. You guys have heard me say these things, but there are lots of new people that we are sponsoring into this team. And again, it's never a bad thing to hear things over and over again. Repetition is what gets things really honed into us. But there are two pains that you're going to experience. One is the pain of discipline, and one is the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is when you go to bed on close night, you're going to know when you look back at the month, I did everything that I could for my business. I gave my very best. I showed up every day. I did what I was supposed to do. I followed up, I followed through, and man, oh man, I left it all in the field. And even if I didn't hit my goal or reach where I wanted to be, there is a sense of satisfaction knowing that you did your absolute very best, okay? Here's the thing. If you are thinking right now, well, crap, Missy, I know how I'm gonna feel at the end of the month because I haven't done jack crap for 3 weeks so far. So how in the world am I gonna feel like, I'm winning the month? Okay, again, forget what lies behind you and look forward to what's ahead. You have the next 7 days. So on close night, the pain of discipline for you might feel like, you know what, these last 7 days, I gave my very best. I showed up, I took my head out of the trash can, and I did what I knew I needed to do for my business. And I can say I am super proud of what I've done in these last 7 days. And that's how you end the month, with the pain of discipline, okay? The other pain is the pain of regret. And the pain of regret is full of the shoulda, couldas, wish I would have. If I knew I was going to get this close, I would have worked harder sooner in the month. Do you know how many times I have people say, if I knew I was going to finish at this point, I wish I would have worked a little bit harder, because then I could have got to my bonus, or I could have got to the next qualification, or I could have completed my promotion, right? And so the pain of regret is just full of the shouldas and the couldas and the wish I would haves. And I'm here to tell you guys that I spent, when I say I was bad at Arbonne for a long time, I was bad at Arbonne because I ended many months, too many months, with the pain of regret, knowing what I should have been doing, but not executing it out of lots of things: belief issues, laziness, lack of discipline, lack of consistency, lack of focus, apathy, whatever those things are. And too many months I would go to bed feeling frustrated with myself, like, I I knew I could have done better. I knew I didn't really give my very best. And that's a not fun feeling to end your month with. And when I started to really decide that I was tired of that feeling, so I wanted to choose the other pain, again, that's always when growth would happen in my business, was when I was choosing that pain of discipline. So let my hindsight be your foresight, and you want to be choosing the pain of discipline, okay? Along with this, part of that pain of regret, or something that can kind of come out at this time, is using the phrase next month. And I'm really going to ask you guys to refuse, just refuse to use ever in your business next month. Next month, I'm really going to get myself together. Next month, I'm really going to do the activity I know I'm supposed to do. Next month, I'm going to be consistent. Next month, I'm going to prioritize my business. Next monthing your business is a business killer. I promise you. I mean, think about it. It's like saying, well, next month I'm going to stick to my budget. Well, when do you think next month comes? Never. So then you never stick to your budget, right? So you have to decide that you're not going to next month this business, because it will kill the business. It's going to kill your energy. It's going to kill your momentum. And the thing is when you get comfortable saying next month on the 28th, do you know what happens 6 months down the road? You start saying next month on the 15th of the month. And then before you know it, by the 10th of the month, you're saying, well, next month, I'm going to do the things. Next month, okay? So be mindful of that. And here's a little coaching tip, is if you're chatting with somebody on your team, and it could be your upline, it could be a sideline, maybe an accountability buddy that you have, maybe it's somebody in your team, and they're saying next month, then you say, hey, do I have permission to just share something with you? You ask for permission before you ever give any feedback, okay? And if they're like, oh, no, I don't want any feedback, then you don't share with them, okay? Just FYI, don't go any further. If they say, yeah, sure, then you say, you know what, I'm saying this in love because I love you and I know that you want to grow this business, but I don't know if you hear it, but you're saying next month. And so I just want to help you be accountable to that, because next monthing this business will only keep you in the perpetual cycle of going backwards in this business every time. It's never a success strategy, okay? So those are just some things in that mindset categories that you want to be aware of. So again, what are we going to do now that we've got these 7 days? And again, I'm saying this over and over again. These are not new things. They're not new ideas. I'm not bringing to the table tonight in the next 5 minutes like something that you haven't heard of before, but these are good reminders, and they're also good gauges of, am I actually doing this in my business? I'm hearing about it. I know that they're saying this in the trainings, but am I carving out the time in my day to make this happen? Am I actually executing these things? And if you want to finish strong, these are the things you want to be executing, okay? So you want to be taking everything out to its best possible conclusion. That is a phrase that as a Arbonne consultant should just be naturally ingrained into you. Take everything out to its best possible conclusion. What that means is that you don't just take the first no as, okay, thanks, and then move on. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example of this, okay? What it means is that you look for ways to just take things out to their best possible conclusion. So I kind of have a rule of 3 no's. And what that means is that if I reach out to somebody and I say, hey, I would love to share this business with you, and I think you're amazing, I think you've got incredible character, I love your energy, which I did with a gal this week. I've done with several. Once, as an example, one gal said yes. Okay, so that's easy. She's like, yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more. I know where to take her with that. You know where to take her with that. You set up a Zoom call, you send her a video, send him a video, something like that. If you have somebody like I did that says, oh my gosh, thanks so much for thinking of me, but I'm not interested in pursuing a business opportunity with Arbonne. What do you do with that? Do you just say, okay, thanks for getting back with me, and you leave it as a no? Or do you take it up to the best possible conclusion? Which would be then, so that was the first no. She said, no, I'm not interested in the Arbonne business opportunity. So then the next question is, hey, that's no problem. Thanks so much for getting back with me. Thanks for letting me know where your thoughts are at. You know, sometimes I will have a little bit of a dialogue with them, kind of just, especially if I know that they don't really know anything about Arbonne, kind of like, hey, I'm not looking to convince you, just curious, like what parts you think you're not interested in, since they don't even really know yet about Arbonne. But then I will ask, hey, that's no problem. I am always just looking to expand my business and continue to share the message and the mission of clean living with people and wellness and well-being. Would you be willing to have just 3 or 4 friends over? Let me come pamper you guys. You'll get lots of great products and free goodies for being willing to just introduce me to a few new faces. My hope is that she says yes, but if she says no, then now I've got my second no. Okay, then taking that out to the best possible conclusion is saying, hey girl, no problem, I get it, your schedule is crazy busy, because everybody's crazy busy, right? And then I offer her samples and say, I'd love to sample you some product. I'd love to get your feedback on some, on the fizzies, on the protein, on the skincare, okay? So do you see how, and if she says no to samples, that's my third no. And then what I say, still, I'm taking things back out to its best possible conclusion, is, oh my gosh, girl, no problem. I get it. You're totally not into anything healthy and nutritious for you. No, just kidding. I wouldn't say that. But I get it. You're not into anything healthy and you love your, oil of Olay from Target. That's awesome. But what I do say is, would it be okay with you if I just circle back in 3 to 6 months just to see if things have changed? That's taking things out to the best possible conclusion. Because again, I'm asking for permission, and I'm going to circle back with her, because right now she's a no, but she's not a no forever. They're only a no forever once they die. I know that sounds extreme and silly, but it's true. They are only a no right now. In 6 months, she might need fizz sticks that she doesn't need right now. In 6 months, she might have some skin issues that her oil of Olay from Target is just not quite fixing for her, right? She in 6 months might have a spouse who's lost their job and they have no plan B and they need a financial opportunity. So someone is not a no forever. They're just a no for right now. And our job is to take things out to the best possible conclusion, and doing that by helping them stair-step through that process, okay? And if you're not currently doing that, when I post the recording, go back and watch this and take the notes on how I stair-step somebody through that process, because that is a skill you need to have. Because the tendency is often to say, okay, thanks for getting back with me. Okay, thanks. And moving on to the next person and not realizing that there's still a lot of potential within that one person still, okay? Second thing that we want to be focusing on this week is understanding that the fortune is in the follow-up. This was probably one of the very first phrases I ever heard at an Arbonne training 15 years ago, because the average person takes 6 to 12 exposures before they're willing to say yes. So I'm going to ask you to be willing to ask people just one more time, okay? Just one more time. And when these 6 to 12 exposures, I've gotten lots of questions from consultants on like, well, how do you do that? What does that mean? It just means that you send them a video, or you send them like a sample in the mail, or you invite them to a superfood supper, or you see something within the Arbonne community and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought of you when I saw this, or you see somebody's cool Instagram post that has something to do with Arbonne and you tag them in it so they see it. It's just third-party validation. There's just lots of ways that you're exposing people. It's not the same thing. Like, you're not saying to someone, hey, could I share the Arbonne opportunity with you? And they're like, yeah, no, thanks, but no. And then you're not going back 7 times saying the exact same thing to them, because then they're going to be like, did you not get it? Like, I said, no, I'm not interested, right? But I can tell you, being with the national vice presidents in Maui and just knowing lots and lots of national vice presidents, hardly none of them, like, I think I'm kind of like the exception to the rule, because I did say yes probably on the 2nd time of ever hearing Arbonne. But most of them, it took them between that 6th to 12th time. I mean, Carlita Nelson, who is a top 10 income earner. She's an amazing, beautiful, brilliant woman. She went to a Mercedes-Benz car presentation with a consultant solely so that she could say, I've come to the one thing, you keep inviting me to all these things, I'm not interested, I just want to use the products, please leave me alone. She came to the one event just so she could tell the lady, like, I've come and I'm not interested. And she went and she started her business, right? So you just never know. So just be willing to ask that one more time. Third thing is make the free signups work for you. Arbonne is giving us this incentive this month, and this is something that you do not want to waste, okay? So if you haven't had a lot of sponsoring this month, more than likely, I'm going to guess that it's just you haven't asked enough people. You just haven't been in enough consistent activity. And again, guess what? You can start tomorrow. Make these next 7 days, challenge yourself with a number that really challenges you. Like sponsor 7 in the next 7 days. Sponsor 10 in the next 7 days. And you might be thinking like, Missy, I've only ever sponsored 2 people in my business before. Great, make this a new week. Change your belief systems. Change the programming that you're telling yourself, and understand that Arbonne is offering us this, and all we have to do is communicate it to people and then let them decide. And then if you've been in the business for a little bit of time, you probably have some preferred clients who have rewards or renewals that need to be followed up on. One of the things I want to say about your renewals and your rewards is that it is easier to retain a customer than to capture a new one. So what does that mean? That means that you want to be someone that offers good customer service. And in this business, good customer service means building relationship, getting to know them, know their kids' names, know the products that they like, know if you see that it's their birthday on Facebook, message them. If you're not friending your preferred clients on Facebook or social media like Instagram, go do that. Just build normal person-to-person relationship with these people, because they build loyalty to you through that. Okay, so it's 9:31. I've gone over again, so I'm cutting this thing off so we can switch over into the Sunday skills call. So the next call is skills. Tonight, Dr. Deanna is going to be talking about the 30 Days Healthy Living program, how to build a nutrition business, how to walk people through the 30-day tracker, and really helping people be set up for success. So we are going to finish out the week strong. If you guys have any kind of questions or comments, put those on the Facebook team page and I will answer those, but I want to hop off so we can switch over to the other Sunday night skills calls. So love you all so much. Hope you got some value out of this, and we will see you soon. All right, love y'all. Bye.